Hello everyone, Charles Watts here, the Arsenal correspondent at Goal, joining you the day after Arsenal got back to winning ways with that lovely 3-0 win against Southampton at the Emirates yesterday. Some good stuff from Arsenal after a shaky start. First 20 minutes, very iffy, shall we say. I thought Saints played pretty well, pressed very well, caused Arsenal lots of problems, but at the moment Lacazette scored, it all sort of changed. Arsenal played some good stuff, scored some good goals. Certainly Lacazette's goal, fantastic move that was. Played some great stuff in that second half. I think there was that 20-minute period in the second half when they got the third goal, when Saka hit the post, Martinelli hit the post. That 20-minute period is up there with the best football they've played this season, up there with that sort of half an hour against Spurs. Played really well. Crowd was into it. It was a very enjoyable period of play that was, and they got the job done. 3-0, exactly what they needed, and set themselves up pretty nicely for that game against West Ham on Wednesday night, which is looking pretty important now, that match. It has to be said. Arsenal win that, they're going to be right back in the mix for the sort of top four places, if you can say that at this stage of the season. But it's a big game. It would be a big win if they can get 3 points against West Ham. I will talk about that a little bit more later on in this video. I just wanted to start certainly with, we can't not talk about Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang in that situation. I spoke about it briefly in the ratings video after the game yesterday. I mean, you've seen it, you know what's going on. Aubameyang banished from the squad. I reported on Friday night that he hadn't been at training on Friday and looked set to miss out. I wasn't sure at that point exactly what the reason was. Obviously, we now know it's a disciplinary breach, and the story is that he went away during the week, was given permission to leave by Arsenal, but returned home from that planned trip late, and not just an hour late either, by the sounds of it. And Mikel Arteta took action and stopped him playing on Saturday. It's interesting seeing the reaction to it, I have to say. I think it's kind of typical of Arsenal, really, in the Arsenal fan base. It's very split. Lots of people very supportive of Arteta, lots of people very negative about Arteta, saying you're throwing Auba under a bus, and others saying, Auba deserves everything he gets. He's the captain. He can't keep doing this. Obviously, this isn't the first time. We saw last season before North London derby. Again, Aubameyang turned up late, got dropped for that game, was at least on the bench, wasn't even in the squad this time. And there's been other issues with Aubameyang as well. He broke COVID protocols last year with that tattoo as well. So it's not just a late timekeeping, but that is from my understanding, the main sort of frustration of Arteta. That obviously had a big game this weekend. He was given permission to go and leave for some personal issues, but on the proviso that he would be back in time it wouldn't affect Arsenal's planning for the game on Saturday. He couldn't stick to that time. He was late, and that is why Mikel Arteta took the action he did. Personally, I don't really see what else Mikel Arteta could do here. He's your captain. He's supposed to lead by example. He can't keep doing this sort of thing and get away with it. So I think you have to hold him to account. You have to punish him somewhat. I know people will say, "No, you've thrown him under a bus. Maybe you could have done it quietly." But in this day and age, it would have come out anyway. As soon as Aubameyang's missing, it will eventually come out why he's missing. Even if the Arteta says something or not, he clearly wanted to make a point. This isn't the first time Aubameyang's done it. Again, maybe if this is the first time and this is a player who hasn't really caused any issues, then he would take it a little bit easier. But it's not. And also, Aubameyang's form has been pretty woeful, as we all know as well. And he obviously wanted to make a point and say not just to Aubameyang, but say to the rest of the squad, this is not acceptable. These are the rules you got to stick by. And if you're gonna muck up our planning for a very important match after what's been a very difficult week and a couple of back-to-back defeats, then you're gonna fall victim of disciplinary procedures. And we wait to find out exactly what is going to happen to Pierre. And you saw the press conference afterwards, Mikel not answering any of our questions on it, in terms of what the possible ramifications will be for Aubameyang. Will he lose the captaincy? Will he be involved against West Ham on Wednesday night? Mikel not giving anything away. We're next speaking to Mikel on Tuesday morning ahead of that game against West Ham, so it'll be interesting to see if anything has come out before then, or if Arsenal release any sort of statement, or if Mikel is a little bit more open about what he plans to do with Aubameyang now. But it is a messy situation. He admitted it before the game when he was speaking to Sky. He's like, obviously, it's not an ideal situation for our captain to be involved in something like this, and it's not. And it's a difficult one, isn't it? I think you don't want to see players falling out, and you don't want to see players having to be disciplined. But like I said, I don't really see what else Mikel could have done in this situation. If you're a captain, you've got to lead by example. Surely you've got to lead by example. You can't turn up late, not just once, but a few times, and keep falling foul to protocols that the club has put in place that you've got to follow. So, I can see both sides of the argument. I can see why some people are saying, maybe Mikel should be more protective of his captain, of his player. But given this is, a serial thing, it's not the first time, I'm just not sure what Mikel could do in this situation. And it feels to me like, Aubameyang, this is his fault. This is on him. And he's going to have to take the punishment one way or the other. And I thought Arsenal's response yesterday, because I was really worried when this all kicked off and we found out before the game exactly what the issue was. I thought, oh no, ahead of a massive game like this, Arsenal going into it on the back of defeats, the changing room's going to be messed up. There's going to be lots of, Aubameyang's clearly got mates in the change room. It's going to have an effect. Gladly it didn't, and Arsenal performed very, very well and in his absence. And I think maybe that shows as well how, Aubameyang is not absolutely essential to this Arsenal team anymore, which a year and a half he absolutely was. And Alexandre Lacazette in his absence yesterday, I thought played very, very well. Just a bit more on Lacazette, really. I think whenever we see Lacazette, look, he played badly against Everton, no doubt about that. He wasn't given much service, but he played too deep. I thought yesterday he was very, very good. And the way Aubameyang's playing at the moment, I think when Lacazette does play and he plays well, that he just adds a little bit more to the team. His role in the team is slightly more important than Pierre. I thought he linked up well yesterday. If only he was a little bit faster, he would be it would be a real boost, because he would have scored a couple of goals in that first half. But his lack of pace just didn't quite get him away, and he didn't even get a shot away, which was disappointing. But I thought he played well, Lacazette, yesterday, and he fed others into play and took his goal. It was a lovely finish at the end of a lovely move. And as long as he can keep doing that, then whatever happens with Aubameyang, you kind of feel like this is a situation that Arsenal hopefully will be able to manage. Whether it's till the end of the season, we'll have to wait and see. You'd think Aubameyang will come back in. I can't imagine this is it for Aubameyang now. And I think I'll do tomorrow's video, possibly on the captaincy, speak about a little bit more about my thoughts on that there. But whatever happens with the captaincy, I can't see Aubameyang being completely frozen out now and not playing again for Arsenal. You'd certainly think there's some sort of they can kiss and make up and at least get Aubameyang back playing, even if he's not going to be the captain in the future. I saw Martin Keown yesterday on Match of the Day saying he doesn't think he should be captain anymore. I tend to agree with him, I have to admit. And we'll wait and see over the next couple of days whether this will affect the armband and that Mikel will decide to go with someone else. But I think he will play again. So as long as he does and he can come back and he can get back to some sort of form, then you'd hope until the end of the season, when Arsenal can really fix the striker issue in the transfer market, then it'll be better. But right now, they need Lacazette playing well if Aubameyang's not playing. I thought he played really, really well yesterday. I thought his role was very, very important in that win. Martinelli played excellently as well. I thought he was really bright. So unlucky with that shot that hit the post. And we're beginning to see the best of Martinelli again. It's taken some time. Clearly he hasn't played much football, so he's going to be a bit rusty, but he's looking better and better. I thought he was excellent in the second half against Everton. He was the only player who really stood out in that performance for Arsenal. I thought he was very, very good yesterday, caused lots of problems down that left-hand side. As I said, really unlucky not to score. But it is, it's positive signs with Martinelli. He's beginning to look like the player that we know he is, and the player that we saw exploded onto the scene when he first arrived at Arsenal. And if he can play well, if Lacazette can play well, if Martin Odegaard can keep scoring the way he does, and I'll talk about him in a minute. Smith Rowe can come back into the team and score. If Saka can score, then you can make do without Aubameyang for however long this lasts. So it all depends on how the other players play, and Lacazette's going to be key because he's the experienced head. He's a senior professional. He's a senior striker now when Aubameyang's not going to play. And yesterday, he did the job, and I'm sure Lacazette was probably feeling pretty annoyed because he's been at Aubra like that. We know that. I'm sure he'll probably be just siding with Aubameyang on this, and he'll want him in the team. He'll want his mate in the team. He doesn't want to see his mate punished. But he went out there and produced a really professional performance. I thought Lacazette, he deserves quite a bit of credit for that, and long may that continue, because you would imagine that he will start against West Ham as well on Wednesday night. Lacazette. I can't see Arteta making too many changes from that team, if any, in fact. So hopefully Lacazette will produce a sort of performance against West Ham that he did yesterday. And if he can do that, then you think Arsenal got a good chance against West Ham side, who are, I mean, they're playing today. By the time you watch this video, I'm sure they'll probably win. I can't even remember who they're playing, to be honest. And they'll be back in the back with about a 4-point lead. Sorry, the car alarm going off. Just checking it wasn't my car. It's not. Thankfully, no one's breaking into my car. And all eyes on that West Ham game. I will be there. Unfortunately, it'll be my last game until I take a little bit of a break. I'm going away for Christmas, so I'm not going to be, after West Ham, I'm not going to be there till Manchester City. Unfortunately, Arsenal this season anyway tend to lose when I'm not around, so fingers crossed that curse can be broken over the festive period, because West Ham will be my last game. Martin Odegaard yesterday I thought was really, really good. Scored his goal, 3 goals in a row in the Premier League for him now. 4 goals for the season. Should have been 5, let's face it, but Aubameyang nicked his goal against Watford and got it ruled out for offside. And that's what you want to see from Martin Odegaard. And I thought it was great yesterday. I thought he ran the game at times. Lovely little flick to set up that chance of Saka in the first half. I liked his goal, and I liked all 3 of his goals that we've seen recently. The one against Man United, the one against Everton. Both of those are sort of arriving a little bit late into the box for cutbacks. Yesterday, again, it was a run from deep and sort of anticipating where Tierney was going to put the ball. And that's what you need from your number 10, because Odegaard can't just be a creator. He needs to be a goal scorer as well. And maybe we didn't see that enough last season during his loan spell, but he's got 4 now. And like I said, technically, I think we all know it should be 5 if Aubameyang hadn't nicked his goal. And that's not bad at this stage of the season when he's still bedding in a little bit. And that's what you really want to see from him. You want to see him influencing the game, and I thought he did that a lot yesterday, which was good. But he's also, you want to see him scoring goals as well, because Arsenal needed the number 10 to score goals. So that was good to see. I asked Mikel about it afterwards, and he said he's making it into the box much more now, and understands why we encourage him to do that, because he is a match winner. That's the difference between a very good player and a match winner. We need more of those players on the pitch to win more of our games, and it's exactly that. Arsenal can't just rely on 1 or 2 players to score. All of those forwards need to be chipping in with goals. Saka, Smith Rowe, Martinelli, Odegaard, Lacazette, Aubameyang when he's playing. They all need to be scoring, and maybe over the last sort of 18 months or so we haven't really seen that. But this season now, Smith Rowe scored. I think he's got 5 in the Premier League. Odegaard now has 4. That's what you want to see from Martin Odegaard, and so that was a positive, I thought, last night, and long may that continue, because when he's on it, he's a class player, Martin Odegaard. There's no doubt about it. He really makes things tick, and I thought he was excellent yesterday, as was Gabriel, who, I think there's a good shout to say Gabriel's been Arsenal's player of the season so far, him or Aaron Ramsdale. They've just been excellent. I thought it was great again. Got his goal yesterday. He's a real threat in the penalty area. Saw the goal at Leicester. Scored the goal again yesterday. Had the one ruled out as well. He attacks those balls in really well. He's a goal threat at one end, and him and Ben White are forming a good partnership at the other. Another clean sheet for Arsenal yesterday. At home, defensively at home, they're playing very, very well. It's just away when they seem to be having a few issues. So yeah, I'm really impressed with Gabriel. And obviously he went off yesterday, sort of halfway through that second half, and there was a bit of a fear, like, oh no, has he picked up an injury? But I asked Mikel about that substitution, and he just said it was because he's on the yellow card that he did it, which was pretty smart from Arteta, because we all know how important that West Ham game is. And when you look at Mikel Antonio, who Gabriel's going to be up against, in the air, Gabriel it was very, very important that he plays that game against West Ham. So Mikel taking no chances there with that substitution, a pretty smart move from him. You want Gabriel absolutely bang on it. He's going to be very important in that West Ham game on Wednesday night, which, as I said, I think we're going to see the same sort of team. Big shout for Aaron Ramsdale again yesterday. I thought he made some excellent saves. Just what a player he is, what a character. Great to see Arsenal have a goalkeeper like that. Alright everyone, thank you very much for watching. I'll try and do a video in the morning looking a little bit more about the Arsenal captaincy and what might happen and who could potentially take over if the decision by Mikel Arteta is to strip Aubameyang of the captaincy. So keep your eyes peeled for that one. Until then, have a very good end to your weekend, everyone. I'll see you soon.